Catherine Austin, and welcome to Living Karma Yoga, brought to you by Karma Yoga in Bloomfield Hills. This show celebrates the best of the yoga world, from physical practices and postures to meditations, music, mantra, travel, fashion, and more to support your radiance. I'm so glad you're joining us on the powerful journey of living your yoga today. I have such great guests with me this morning. This is Nancy McCaughan. She's one of our teachers at Karma Yoga. And then Dustin, who is not only a student, but assists me in working at Karma Yoga as well, who's going to help us with the wall yoga today. Nancy, who has a master's degree in English, language, and literature, taught freshman composition before moving to the Metro Detroit area in 2001 to study yoga and help others feel more comfortable in their bodies. Nancy's classes are always breath-based explorations of inner space, and one of her students calls them an ecstatic internal massage. She's the author of Yoga at the Wall, which was published in 2008. So I'm so excited to have you here, Nancy, to really assist us, and she's going to take us through a little practice. So I'm going to turn it over to her, and Dustin and I will get on our mats.
Well, welcome to Yoga at the Wall, and while Catherine and Dustin get situated in the first posture, I'd like to invite you at home to practice with us as well. All you need is a wall. If there's a couch or a chair in front of the wall, just pull it away. Or if you're not able to do that, you can lie flat on your back and place your knees, your lower legs, on top of a chair. So in the first posture, is lying on your back, knees directly over your hips. Dustin, scoot toward the wall just a little bit more. Feet about hip distance apart. Close your eyes and bring your hands to your lower abdomen. And do that at home as well. Let everything relax. Allow your body to settle down into the earth. And begin to experience your breath. Enjoy it. Feel your abdominal wall lift on your inhalation and release on your exhalation. And then feel your rib cage and your chest wall expand on the inhalation and release on your exhalation as well. We always begin with breathing exercises in our classes so that we can move from the normal busyness of our daily lives into a more meditative, more conscious way of understanding our lives and experiencing our lives and our bodies. Encourage your inhalations and your exhalations to be equal in length, creating a nice rhythm. And you might think, inhale, I feel myself expanding to infinity, and exhale, I feel myself moving more deeply inside my space. Inhale, I feed my body. Exhale, I let go of what I don't need. Take 3 more such breaths, and then we'll begin the physical practice. Your breath supports the physical practice, and it also gives you some mental space in which to observe what's happening inside your body. Now press your feet, Dustin and Catherine, against the wall and spread your toes wide, lifting the toe pads up off the wall. Press into your inner heels and then place your toes back on the wall and hug the wall with your feet. Notice how that engages the muscles in your legs and your thighs and maybe even your buttocks. Using your legs to secure your pelvis, now reach your arms beyond your head and stretch all the way from your sit bones to your fingertips. Notice how your ribs pop up. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the floor, where this arm movement assists deep breathing. 3 more times. Inhale, reach your arms up and let them float to the earth. Exhale, float back. Inhale again. Lift and reach. Exhale, bring your hands back to the sides. And then one last time, inhale, lift your arms and hold them there. You at home do this too. And notice how your ribs pop up. Use your abdominal muscles along the lower rib cage to draw your back ribs toward the floor. Notice how that tones your abdomen slightly. Keep that toning, and now interlace your hands behind your head. And as you exhale, lift your head and shoulders. Inhale, head and shoulders back toward the floor. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, back. Notice when your ribs start to pop up off the floor, And then stop. Maybe you don't get all the way back there on your inhale. Exhale up again. Inhale back to the original lift. And continue, and you're pulsing. This gets you into the core much more quickly. You'll feel more intense sensations than if you go all the way back to the floor. One more breath. Inhale, head and shoulders back. Exhale, draw your right knee in toward your navel, your chest. Use this to massage your lower back. Really draw it in and maybe release, and draw it in and release. Feel your breath even and rhythmic, inhalations and exhalations equal in length. Hug that thigh in close to your rib cage, and now place your right ankle on your left thigh. Press through your right heel. Use your right arm to press your leg toward the wall. And then if you'd like more core work, you don't have to, but if you'd like more core work, bring your left hand behind your head, keep your right hand on your leg, and exhale left elbow toward your right knee. Just 2 more times. Exhale up and inhale back. One of the things that differentiates this from a gym is that we're working much more mindfully and with the breath. And release. Bring your right foot back to the wall. Hug your left thigh in close to your left rib cage. Use this to release your left lower lumbar spine. Notice how it stretches along the buttocks and your waist. Breath even and rhythmic, lowest back ribs moving toward the floor, still here to stabilize your torso. And then place your left ankle on your right thigh, press through your left heel, and flex your left foot so the toes move back toward your shin. And if you did core work on the other side, then you would do it on this side as well. The right hand comes behind your head. You exhale, lift, and twist to your left. Inhale back. And just 2 more times. Exhale up and twist. If you're not doing this, you're breathing very deeply, aware of the sensations, aware of your back against the floor. Last time, inhale, head and shoulders back. Exhale, your left foot back to the wall. Hug both knees into your chest. And then you'll take a spinal twist. So you'll bring your arms out to the sides to cactus position or T. Lower your knees to the right. Roll all the way onto your right hip. And then press your feet into the wall very lightly. Make sure that your knees now have a 90-degree bend in them so that your ankles are in line with your knees. That brings your hip down a little bit more. Bring your left shoulder toward the floor, and if you can bring your right rib cage, left rib cage toward the floor a little bit more, the back ribs, that helps to release your shoulder. Left shoulder goes a little bit closer to the floor. Inhale on twist and exhale other side. So lower all the way to your left hip first, and then bring a 90-degree bend to your knees and press into the wall. One of the benefits of using the wall in yoga is that it helps us understand where our bodies are in space. Remember to bring the right rib cage toward the floor and resistance to the knees moving to the left. And it increases the resistance that we have so that we can actually stretch and strengthen more. One more breath, then roll all the way over onto your left side and come to table pose, which is hands and knees. Slowly, you've been lying down for a while. Come away from the wall here to do a little cat-cow. And in cat-cow, we tuck the tailbone, engaging the abdominal muscles. Chin comes toward the tailbone. Inhale, arch the back. Shoulder blades come toward each other. Exhale, tuck, and inhale, come back. 2 more times. Feel your spine loosen up. Each vertebra and each disc starts to get some space. Bring your spine back to neutral, and then you'll either turn your toes under and lift your sit bones high into the air, bringing your heels to the wall, or bring your sit bones to your heels, knees spread wide, forehead toward the floor. Each of these has a nice back stretch in it in its own way. Breathe into your back ribs now. Feel your breath. If I were to come around and hold your ribs, my hands would expand. Pressing into the wall in downward facing dog here that Catherine's in really helps expand and extend the stretch into the hamstrings. And now you'll come to your feet. So if you're in down dog, walk your feet 2 to 3 inches away from the wall and then walk your hands toward your feet. And if you're in child's pose, you'll walk your hands toward your knees, widen your feet, turn your toes under, shift your weight onto your feet, and then place your hands on your thighs, bring your heels to the floor, and you've got a forward bend. One more deep breath. Inhale, bring your spine parallel to the floor. Exhale, bend your knees slightly, place your hands on your thighs, and inhale, lift all the way up. Nice. And then you'll turn so that the right side of your body is facing the wall, but come an arm's distance from the wall so that, and align your arms so that your wrist and your elbow and your shoulder are all the same height. Spread your fingers, and you're going to reach for the wall, not a lot of body weight in there. Just reach, and as you press into the wall, draw your right shoulder blade in toward your spine so that you're stretching using each end of the arm, leverage here to stretch your arm. Inhale, lift your left arm into the air, and exhale, side bend to your right, aiming your left fingertips toward the space where the wall and the ceiling meet. Keep your right shoulder blade drawing in. And here the wall helps us by creating some resistance so we can increase our stretching. Inhale, lift that left arm back up. Exhale, your left hand to your hip, and then turn your toes toward the center of the room, keeping your hand where it is. Nice deep breath. Breathe from your feet to your fingertips. And if your eyes are open, softly focus them at the tip of your nose or a point directly in front of you. Or with closed eyes, we can really observe what's happening inside of ourselves. One more deep breath. And inhale, turn to the other side. Spread your fingers. Press into the wall, draw your left shoulder blade in. Inhale, lift your right arm and side bend to your left, aiming your right fingertips toward the space where the wall and the ceiling meet. Breathe from your right heel to your right fingertips. One more breath. Excellent. Inhale, come on back, right hand to your hip. Start to turn your feet, your body toward the center of the room. 2 more deep, deep breaths. And release. And now you'll transition to the floor for final relaxation. So just move toward the wall, come into a squat, and then sit so that your tailbone is against the wall. So come all the way down. Challenge your quads on the way down. And you might need to come forward. Sit on your sit bones, and then turn to your right so that the right side of your body is against the wall, right or left, it doesn't matter. And you'll roll on your back, and Catherine's going to put her sit bones on the wall, and Dustin's going to move away from the wall and assume the original position. So legs up the wall. She might open her legs a little bit. Buddha's a little in the way here, but opening the legs assists a stretching in the hamstrings or the inner thigh muscles, adductors. And this position is really wonderful because gravity just straightens out the spine, and Dustin's back in the original position, breathing very, very deeply, letting gravity take everything away. Dustin and Catherine are going to relax on the floor a little longer, and I invite you at home to do so as well. 5 minutes at least, 15, 20, and you'll feel like you've had a full night's sleep. Thank you for joining us for Yoga at the Wall. If you like this practice, you can find Yoga at the Wall, my book, on Amazon.com or at yogaatthewall.com. And join me for classes Saturday or Sunday morning and Tuesday mornings at 8:15 at Karma Yoga, corner of Maple and Lahser.
back with Nancy McCocken, and we just had a really nice wall practice with her. And now we want to continue on with a discussion about the gong. And this is an ancient instrument that we got at Karma Yoga almost over a year ago, maybe in the fall. And it was because we were really expanding into our Kundalini classes, because gong is a traditional part of that, although we also use it in some of our other classes as well. And the students have been having amazing experiences with them, so we wanted to share with you what the gong can do for us. So Nancy's going to assist us, and I'd love to have a discussion on what do you know about the gong and how does it affect us and assist us in our bodies and our minds.
Well, I'm at a loss for words now. The gong, I've just playing the gong and everything's gone, which is what the gong does. It takes all of those thought forms that are always kind of swirling around in your head, and we all have them. Yoga calls our minds a monkey mind, and because it's the mentation that we have just comes and goes by itself, and we get caught in it. The gong plays into or triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which is kind of a right-brained nervous system, or it's not exactly a right-brained nervous system, but it's associated with that. So it calms us down. It bypasses the thought processes so we can deeply, deeply relax. The sound current comes in through our ears, and our ears are wired into the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we close our eyes, we lie down on the floor and we hear the vibrations of the gong. Within 3 to 90 seconds, the thought processes either stop, or if they don't stop, they're not so important. They're not hijacking our emotions anymore and taking them away with them. Also, our whole bodies are comprised of vibrations. The atoms in our bodies vibrate, the cell tissues vibrate, our voices vibrate, and when we're lying on the floor we can feel the gong in our bodies, in our cell tissues, and in our bones. The bones and the cavities in the body amplify that sound, and our bodies are primarily water, and water is a conductor, kind of a slow conductor of vibration, certainly, but it's a conductor of electromagnetic energy, and the gong, which is also wave frequency. So the gong moves in wave-like currents through our bodies, and it can be very, very healing. There are more and more people now who are they're experimenting with sound healing and using sound to heal things like cancer and arthritis, because our brain waves, our thought waves, they all have frequency, and people are discovering that our bodies have kind of a resonant frequency too. And when we're a little bit off kilter, a little bit unhealthy, then our frequency has changed. So the gong is a bit of a sound adaptogen. Adaptogens in pharmacies, in pharmaceuticals, and in herbs move into the body and do what they need to do based on what the body is doing, okay? So they fill in the empty spaces. The gong does that too, and the gong that we have here is a symphonic gong, which means that it has all the frequencies involved in it. So whatever you need is here in the sound current. Some people relax. One of my students said, you know, I'm totally relaxed at the end of the class. Why do you play that gong as soon as the gong starts? The war starts. Well, the war is an important part of yoga practice because it confronts us with the things that we really need to let go of. Only about 10% of the people who are in my classes at the end feel that. Other people are taken deeply into a meditative space, places their mind shut off. So it's a very good adjunct, a tool to my karma classes, and I play it almost for every class. And when I don't play it, people will say, oh, what happened to the gong?
Right.
I really want to be gonged. And a couple people come to my 7 o'clock classes, in fact, not because they want the practice, but only because they want to hear the gong played. So we are finding that it's a really wonderful tool. And when I first started playing, I could feel that I was changing. You know, it's changed me and my personality.
Yeah,
so
me too.
It's a great tool.
Talk a little bit, just briefly, because we want to have a gong session, on it's an amplification system and how that affects when the player is playing it and what we're doing when we're playing it because it's amplifying the player.
Well, it's really important, and you'll see me stop before I play it, to clear my own mental space, because if I'm angry and start playing the gong, that's amplifying my anger, and then that spreads it out into the room, okay? So as a gong player, I approach it with reverence, and I approach it in a meditative space so that I am clear, and I'm actually asking to channel divine energy, if you will, or I chant and chant the mantras and chant that energy to amplify it, to create a healing and a blessing space for the people around me. So it may, as you said, you know, my student who was getting a little bit agitated, or anybody who is, that agitation's always with us someplace, and so it will amplify the things that we need to get rid of, or it'll amplify that peaceful place. So it's like putting it on a loudspeaker, basically. And a lot of the things that we need to get rid of are just below the radar of our conscious mind, because that's where we're most comfortable with them. So if it amplifies something that we don't want to see, that's a huge blessing, because then we can go, oh, I don't need that anymore, just let it go. And then sometimes there's just a deep peace that we don't even know we have, and then that'll pick it up and amplify that.
And our gong is a 32-inch gong, and there's many different sizes, and also planetary gongs.
Right. There are. And it would take a long time, more time than we have, and I'd like to play, to explain the differences between the gongs and the planetary gongs. But this was recommended to me when I took my first gong class as an appropriate size. It's portable. Bigger gongs are less portable. Smaller gongs are harder to play. It might seem that they're easier to play, but you have to be more delicate. There's not as much metal to vibrate. So that's why we have this one. Thanks.
Anything else, or should we dive in and have a beautiful experience? I think we should just dive in and have the experience. If you're at home and you're listening to this, you want to experience the gong, lie down, find a comfortable place to maybe put your legs up the wall or on a couch. If you can't lie flat on the floor, bend your knees, bring your feet on the floor, but sink into the floor and into the sound current, and have a wonderful time. I certainly will.
Now begin to deepen your breath. And on the next exhale, exhale through your mouth and let your body vibrate against the floor. Ah. And then bring your hands together and rub your hands. Create some sensation in your hands, and bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet together off the floor and create some sensation there, stimulating the meridians in your hands and your feet. And draw your knees into your chest, give them a nice big hug. You at home too, do this. Roll to your right or your left or forward and back and come to a comfortable seat. Keep your eyes closed momentarily. Feel your energy come back into your body, and if you're feeling lightheaded, which sometimes happens if the gong, make the peace symbol with your index fingers and thumbs and point those fingers to the earth. Bring those fingers in contact with the earth, and you'll feel your energy right down into the floor. You'll feel much more secure and stable. Take a nice deep breath, open your eyes, and thank you for enjoying the gong with us. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. It's such a pleasure. I wanted to keep going.
So magical. So thank you for joining us today. I want to thank Nancy McCauken and Dustin Richards for joining me. And if you like what you see here, please come visit us at www.karma-yoga.net. Namaste.